We'd like to talk about the harps a little bit here. We've had lots of people wondering about them, asking questions about them, wanting to know more about them. So that's what we're going to do here, is just give you a little bit of an idea on how they work and what you can do with them. Really a simple instrument, a very intuitive type of instrument that you can play. One of the things I found with a lot of people when they come to our table at a trade show, or we're just talking about the harps and that, is most people are, oh, I can never play an instrument, or I've never played an instrument, or things like, well, the only instrument I can play is the radio. There seems to be a bit of an intimidation for people to pick up an instrument and play it, and simply because there's this expectation that if we're going to play an instrument, we have to be able to perform like the guys up on the stage, or we have to be very proficient in order to enjoy them. Really, with any instrument, you just got to start learning how to play it, and that's where these harps really shine. Is there's no learning curve, really. They're tuned so that you can't do anything wrong. Everything you do sounds good. It all harmonizes, and so it's very intuitive, and you just start finding different things that you can do with it to make sounds. And so it's tuned in a paired manner, so that as a therapeutic instrument, you can play it between two people, and this opens up a communication between them. So you can set it between two people, and because the bass strings are in the center, so you can have kind of a call and answer. So one person starts the conversation, and it's kind of like you're connecting on a deeper level. So one person will start the call, the other person will answer. Just go back and forth, and you can have a conversation. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to pay attention to what your fingers are really doing. You can just pluck back and forth. And so it opens up a communication, opens up a connection that goes beyond the verbal. And individually for yourself, when you're playing it, you just hug it up against you. And this is one way to play it. You can play it on your lap and just have your fingers on top like this, so the sound comes up to you. But to get the most effect and benefit is if you hug it. And that puts your fingers in front, and you can feel the vibration of the instrument as you play, which it has a very interesting effect. Just feeling that right on your chest, right on your heart. And then you just start making some sounds. So one finger, and then you can add other fingers in. So we'll add the other finger. And then as you get more comfortable with it, you want to start experimenting and exploring, you add more fingers. So you can pluck it, so you just, any combination of strings harmonizes. So you can pluck it with 5 fingers. And then you just start finding different things. So we got a rumbly car outside adding to the mix here. that's all it is just find rhythms depending on how you feel. And so it's interesting, there's different responses that people will have to these. It's a very tactile thing that affects us not only physically from feeling the vibrations and hearing the tones, but energetically and emotionally. We have this deeper connection with ourselves. And for me, I felt that right in the very beginning when I was researching, trying to find some different ideas for some instruments to make. And I was on the internet and I had found an example of these kind of harps, and this guy was talking about them, talking about, you know, sort of the qualities of them, and he just strums it. And I'm looking at my computer and I burst into tears. I just had this emotional release. And we've had people have very different responses, and yes, absolutely, we've had people come to the table, they pick it up and play it, or I play it for them. They have this emotional release and they're bursting into tears. We've had other people that just all of a sudden just become overjoyed. It's just such an interesting effect, and it's such a personal thing that happens with them. So it can be different for everybody. And so again, like I tell people, it's not like you need to go out and play Stairway to Heaven, but you'll be able to go and create your own Stairway to Heaven. You'll find your own quiet space in there, and in that quiet space is where our bodies respond and start to heal and do all kinds of interesting things. It's just a very interesting thing that happens when we start experiencing instruments like this. So yeah, and you can play it different ways. So I've just been sort of plucking it and just sort of playing with the pads of my fingers. You can use a pick. You can use finger picks, which gives you, using a pick or some kind of finger picks will give you a brighter, sharper sound, a little more volume to it. Just using your fingers is very soft and very gentle. So you can lay down on the couch and you just lay back with it up against you and you just drift away. You're just in this blissful state, which it's amazing how everything just melts away and you just become present. You're in the moment. So you can have a little more upbeat with it. You can start strumming it. So kind of like the guitar players. Of course, the guitar players, they don't know what to do with the hand while they're strumming. So you got to add it in front here. Shelley just loves it when I start doing that. So, and so these instruments, it's not my original idea, like I'm borrowing some different ideas, but I've employed lots of creative variations and different ways of construction and, some very interesting features with the woods. I use, special hardwoods and laminates and different things that each harp has its own voice, its own sound. And we've had lots of people gravitate towards one harp or the other. And so if you go online, you might just see that. You'll see our catalog of harps online. That one harp just stands out. It just calls to you. And we've had that happen so many times. We'd be at a trade show and people are looking at a whole bunch of different harps, and it's just one harp is just calling to them, and it's just a connection is made. So whether it's online or on a table or whatever, it's like there's one harp for everybody that it just connects with you. And I've had that happen with different instruments that, it's just an amazing sensation, and there's a very personal connection that happens with them. So you can check out the harps online. I mean, obviously we've got a few on hand right now. I'm always in the process of making more. So there's different things that we can add in and whatever. So yeah, so let's hear back from you. What do you think about the harps? And maybe we can get a harp for you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again.